I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And as we move to our meeting tonight, we'll continue to focus on our strategic priorities of academic excellence, recruiting and retaining quality staff, resource management, and community relations. Can we please do roll call and establish a quorum?
Davendick, gone. Fields, here. Riphagen,
Here.
Boyd, here. Silva.
Here. Okay, and having the agenda in front of us, there's extra copies here if anyone needs any. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
I will move to approve the agenda.
I'll second it. Okay, we have a motion. Michelle, second. Please call the roll.
Riphagen.
Aye.
Boyd.
Aye.
Fields. Aye. Silva.
Aye. Okay, now would be the time of open forum. This would be a time that anyone would like to speak, communicate with the entire board. Cindy. Yeah. So just a couple of things. You've got 3 minutes to speak.
Sure.
And if you could say your name and just, what's the word? Just confirm that you live in our district, I guess is what I'm trying to say, which I know you do. And then go ahead and go.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
My name is Cindy Wise, and I'm from Jefferson. I have 2 grandchildren in the district right now. But anyway, last night I was at the City Hall meeting, and they read a letter from Mr. Abbott's that he personally and the school board supports the KCG subsidized housing project that's going to be north of the railroad tracks next to Ace Hardware. We all know where it's at. And in the letter, Mr. Abbott stated that he said that the school system could handle an influx of students coming in. And my question, I just would ask Mr. Abbott if he could clarify, like what he means by we could handle an expansion and influx of students coming in, since classrooms are already packed and challenging. And I didn't know if you meant that you would build on to the school, or how this expansion would take place if we had an influx of new students.
So I would say during open forum, we can't respond, and I would advise him the same, but we can definitely, if you have any other questions too, we can get back to you on
Okay.
those. Do you have any others?
Yeah, I think that was because there wasn't very much explanation with the letter. There was a lot of misinterpretation even of where the school board stands on things. Some people had heard this about the school board, some had heard that. You know, we really need more information in the community to get on board with your letter. So I'm requesting if somehow that could be communicated on a radio station, in the newspaper, on Facebook, wherever you would choose, but I feel like it is really needed at this time, so there's not all this confusion.
Sure, if you want to just leave your phone number, email address, I'll reach out to you.
All right, and then you want me to disseminate it, like I pass it on
as you
many?
wish. You can do it as
Is
you
that
wish.
what you're choosing, how to get it out?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else for open forum tonight? Okay, then we're gonna move on along here to our consent items. And close some tabs. Now, it does look like on our consent items, we have a hiring, and so we're gonna pull one of those out separate, just so we will have somebody that'll probably have to abstain from one of those votes. So if our motion could be to approve consent items while pulling out Dina Boyd as a hiring, and then do that separate, that would be great.
I would make a motion to approve the consent items, pulling out the hirings and the
Yes, please, that'd be great.
and any of the retirements.
I will second that.
Okay, motion by Michelle and seconded by Tim. Please call roll.
Fields. Aye. Riphagen.
Aye.
Boyd.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. Okay, and then the next one, we'd like to recognize that we're also hiring Dina Boyd, who's a relative of one of our school board members, and then also our retirement, is it the middle one there? Yeah. So we've got 3 retirements in there for Leanna Osberger of 24 years of service, Jean McKenzie Vickers, and Colleen Silliman.
Are you doing those 2 motions?
that one is all together.
But she doesn't need to abstain from,
She would need to abstain from the retirements.
We can do it as
well, she doesn't need to abstain from the retirement, is what I'm saying, yeah.
so 3 separate motions. Okay, so let's just pull out dean avoids and get that one done first.
Then I would move to approve the hiring. Hiring the folks that are listed on the sheet up there.
I'll second that.
That'd be great. Okay. Motion and a second, please call the roll.
Fields.
Aye.
Rip Hagan.
Aye.
Boyd.
This is when you're pulling out Dina, so I'm abstaining.
Silva.
Aye. Okay,
And then I would move to approve the retirements of the folks listed on the page up there. I really appreciate their years of service and dedication to our school.
And that Colleen is staying on through July.
yes.
Take hold. I'll second that.
Okay, another motion and a second, please call the roll.
Boyd.
Aye.
Rip Hagan.
Aye.
Fields.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. Okay, moving on along to any old business.
0.
I didn't see any either. Okay. Moving to reports and correspondence.
Yep. Spring break this week. We're more than 2/3 of the way through the school year. So it's here. We have a lot of sports starting on Monday, and it's gonna be over before you know it. I think I put on our weekly notes to the board about get us all the way through to the end of the school year, which is kind of a little scary thing to do, but
Yep.
Yeah.
All the events to graduation.
all the
and then
events,
some,
all the way
yeah.
through graduation, you bet. So that's it for me. I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet there.
Any other board committee reports? Negotiations met, but we'll talk about that later below, so we'll share that down there.
Say Greene County Supervisors. We met last month. Nothing really big to report, but it was another good learning experience.
Yeah.
So
Good deal. Okay, there's no other committee reports. Just take a look at the administrative reports. With it being spring break, our admins aren't here this week, but we did have a good report there. If there's any questions on that. Any other reports or correspondence? Okay. Not trying to zip through, it's just happening that way. Okay. All right, then we're gonna move on to new business, school driving permits.
All right, well, you guys are lucky because usually this is like another 20-minute wait before we get to.
More like 40. It's been like at 6 o'clock,
So you picked
6:15
the
the last
right
couple.
time. So I have Isaac and Mason here this evening. Okay. You should both have your form from the DOT filled out. I'm gonna go over just a couple of things. We want to highlight a couple rules. These are not all of the rules. It is your responsibility and your folks' responsibility to know what the rules are, and it is your responsibility to obey them. Okay? So we want to make sure you know that you are allowed to drive on your school permit between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. And where that can get a little tricky is if you're out on an activity somewhere and the bus rolls in at 10:30, your permit does not allow you to drive home. You need to find another way to stay within the rules. You can drive from your house to school and school to your house. If you need to take a quick detour to fill up for some fuel, that's fine. But you don't want to be like running to Boone to get your gas and drive by, for other places, just kind of the most direct route. Your school permit does allow you to drive to other school activities at other schools. So you're not limited just to the high school. If you need to come out here for, football, track practice, baseball, helping out with any of the fine art stuff, that's allowable as well. You can get fuel on the closest route. You can carry with you one other person that's not a relative, if your parents say that's okay. And that means that if you want to pick up a friend if your friend wants to ride with you to school, that is fine, but you don't stop and pick up the friend. The friend gets in with you at your house into your car. So you're not stopping to pick anybody up along the way. Phones.
Put the aux cord and
Yeah, plug it in, get everything set and ready, get your playlist cranked and rolling before you put it in reverse and move on. This school permit is being granted to you, or will be granted to you, you didn't prove it yet, by the school board. So we also have the ability to take it away. And we have gotten phone calls from people turning in some reckless driving, some irresponsible driving. So keep in mind, it's not just the cops. It's a lot. You have a lot of eyes on you. So what else we need to do? So what I would like you to do next, this part is just stand up and tell us who you are, how far you live from school, and why you would like to have a school permit in your town.
Hi, my name is Isaac Hoffman, and I live probably 8 or 9 miles away from the high school. And it would benefit me because if I were to go out for sports, and it's just easier than riding the bus.
Okay, thank you. Mason?
Hi, my name is Mason Lehman. I live about 19 miles away from the school. My school permit would benefit me because it's a long drive, and for some of the sports activities that I do, I don't want my parents to stay in town later than they have to be.
All right, that's good, thank you. I think I went through everything that I have there. So I would make a motion to approve the two school permits that we have here with us this evening.
I'll second it. Okay, motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Rip Hagan,
Aye.
Fields. Aye. Boyd.
Aye.
Silva.
Okay, and you should have your form.
I can sign it for you up here, you guys, and then if you want to stay for the meeting, you're welcome to, or if you'd like to leave, you can. School permits allow you to come to future meetings if you want to come.
Except for those ones that take 5 hours and you get done after 10.
There. Excited.
Yep, and then it goes to.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, have a good one. All right, there you are, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome, thank you. All right, moving along to fundraiser requests. We had 2 for Kyle Kinney Best Ball and Greenhouse, I think, for Raymond Harris. So if there's no other questions on those, we'd be looking for a motion to approve those. The first one was for golf. I don't know if everyone saw that note at the top.
Yeah. I will make a motion to approve both of the fundraiser requests.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Boyd. Aye. Rip Hagan,
Aye.
Fields.
Aye.
Silva.
Hi. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to Piper Sandler and they're gonna zoom in with us. And so our live feed is gonna take a pause because we can't run 2 programs at once. So that will be recorded and then shared. So for anybody listening, if we go dark, that's why, and then we can add that later and we'll resume when we're done with that. So,
This is gonna take it'll take 30 minutes or so.
okay,
Give me about 3 minutes here. I'm going to transition us again we got 5 people viewing right now. So it's going to be on, you'll see a different screen, but we'll come back when we're done with the Zoom and then I'll patch that back in on the YouTube feed probably next week. So.
okay, thank you very much, Brent.
On vacation. out, of course, and then just the super detailed out of what this looks like. So, and so where we kind of came up with those figures is we just looked at basically what have we spent this year, what have we already kind of committed ourselves to this year, and then he just factored and extrapolated year after year after year as if we were going to continue to make some of those same purchases. Some of them are one-offs, of course, but.
And this was a 10-year payoff
Yeah.
on the bonds.
Yep. Through the PEPAL notes. And so, and he will have to change this figure because our PEPAL amount is not going to be $1.34. It's less than that. I think it's $1.02 or $1.01 or something like that. So, without looking at it right here in front of me. So that, I mean, that amount will come down still, so.
Anything else, or we move on then?
Yeah, there's no
I mean, that
action.
was it. We're
No
just kind of
action,
learning a lot about
yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, if there's no other ones, we're gonna get back on the school board train here and look at the FFA out-of-state travel request. Let me close some tabs here. Okay. Does everybody have that in front of them with the FFA? This feels familiar again, but
They do this every year.
yeah,
Okay.
is this the third year maybe?
Okay.
And it's nice that FFA kids come in after and tell us about it, which is kind of nice. That might have been one of your first
They
meetings.
did
I
that,
think
yeah.
it-
the
I think
first
it
one.
was.
Yep.
Indianapolis for their convention.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we would just be looking for a motion if nobody has any questions on the convention out-of-state requests.
I will move to approve the FFA out-of-state travel request.
I'll
Second that.
Oh, I heard Tim first.
Either way.
Did you put Tim?
Yep.
Okay, Tim got it.
Boyd, oh, sorry.
Aye.
Uh, You said aye.
Aye.
Rip Hagan,
Aye.
Fields, aye, Silva.
Okay. And then next up on our agenda is our open enrollment waiver request. And Mike, I see you're here. I see your name on this letter.
Sure.
So I'm guessing that you would like a minute to speak on that too while you're here? or
I will, why not?
If you wanted to.
I don't have lots to add, but I'm happy to. I'm Mike Hawkins. Sawyer is my son. Sawyer is homeschooled and we submitted a form for dual enrollment in August because the homeschool advocate in Greene County said, if he's gonna wanna do anything now that he's in high school, you have to submit that before the school start, the year starts. So we submitted that in case he wanted to play soccer here. So he's a freshman. He has not done any activities or academic things with Greene County School District. Now that the soccer season is upon us, we're in the midst of a house hunting quest, as I mentioned in the proposal, in Carroll County. We have not found a home there, but we are actively searching. Since I wrote that proposal and sent it off to the board, the soccer season started in the state of Iowa on the 11th, which was Monday. And so he is practicing with Carroll County Community School District. As I understand the law, they've designed it so that if you're moving to a different district, you have a 90-day period in which you're ineligible for varsity play. So I understand that. And I also understand that they submitted in that new subparagraph 10 that school board members have the authority to waive that ineligibility period. I read through the list of things that would give good cause for that period to be waived that the Board of Education wrote out. And I'm not sure what else falls into your purview, like what is outside those things that they thought could be waiverable. But at this point, I'm asking that you waive it so that he has the opportunity to play varsity ball if he works hard and earns it. I don't know if he will or not, but otherwise he'll play JV until sometime next year when the 90 school days are over. Essentially what I'm asking you to do is waive it in advance of us closing on a house. Because according to the law, whenever we close on a house and have an address over there, poof, he's eligible for varsity ball. So I'm really just asking you to waive it before that happens. And I understand you have people come and asking for various situations, whether they were student athletes or students in your board or in your community or not. I'm not sure why the Board of Education gave you that authority, but I say exercise it. Why not?
Okay. Well, thank you for coming and
Sure.
speaking. Does anybody else have any other discussion or comments on the one we got, or Brett? I don't know. Go ahead.
Well, I just say, my only thought would be whenever you make an exception, you're setting a precedent. And that's always the question I would ask then. So what precedent are we setting and do we want to set that? That's really more my concern is, yeah, so.
So our precedent is that we do not waive it. We actually had a student this year already who open enrolled from Greene County up to another school district. We did not waive it. And then likewise, that same school district had a student open enroll to us who missed all of volleyball and all of basketball except for about 5 or 6 games there. So both students on both sides had to miss that same 90 days. And it's been a common practice that we have not waived this 90 day period in the past. So I'll let you guys can make the decision based on what you've heard and what we've done in the past.
Do we need to vote on this? Let's see.
You have to make
we
a
have to-
motion based, since it's on the agenda, if we're gonna deny the request or approve the request,
Either way,
either way.
Okay, we need to make a motion, okay. So then do you make the motion to approve the open enrollment waiver?
Or you make the motion to
Or to deny.
deny that.
Either way.
Okay. I would make a motion to deny the open enrollment waiver request.
I would second that.
We have a motion in a second.
Rip Hagan,
Aye.
Fields.
Aye.
Boyd.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. Mike, I appreciate you coming in and I understand why you did, but the same precedent sets, I think, true. So I appreciate your time and thank you for listening to the bond thing.
No.
And I'm sorry to lose you
It's
guys to
informative.
Carol. You've been fun to get to know in our community. So Carol's lucky to have you.
Well, thank you. That's kind.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're gonna continue moving forward then in our agenda for the Education Association ratification agreement.
Yep, so this is a pretty standard operating procedure. So we negotiated with GCEA last Monday. Total package, let me pull up my handy little spreadsheet here. Total package increase with the union, including insurance rates, and all the increases ended up being a 3.22%, I believe is what it ended up being. It was a 3.22% total package, an additional 2.96% on from the base. So it's not a 2.96 for everybody across the board. It's 2.96% off the base as an increase. One of the things that we did keep the salary schedule, however, we modified it. So instead of it being a 4% by 4% salary schedule, it's a 3% by 3%. And removed longevity steps and then just took the salary schedule and just pulled it down. So it'll basically never run out. So people can continually advance across or down the salary schedule rather than kind of hit those plateaus that we've had in the past. So we took all of those out. And then I think that was sort of the big ones. Obviously the contract's going to stay the same, 190 days for paid holidays, 2 are compensated for parent teacher conferences. 2 pages worth of a salary schedule there.
So what happens when you pull it down?
Yeah, and so this obviously doesn't take into consideration kind of the teacher salary minimums or anything like that. It won't include that, and there's an agreement between the school board and GCEA to leave that out because that's being funded through TSS, and we don't know where that dust has settled just yet. We just know it's going to be $47,500, I think. Whenever they finally go through Ways and Means and all the other fun stuff, and the governor actually signs it. So,
Is this a single year?
Yeah, it's a year to year.
Okay,
We
okay.
we negotiate every year.
So then next year, will the first step, will that change to the 50 or the 47?
Nope, so it's 47.5 this year, or well, next school year, and then it's 50,000 the year after that. And then so the year after that, which will be the, 26, 27 school year, then all of that will be factored into our funding formula. So then, yes,
Okay.
then it would
Then it will
change,
change. Gotcha.
less whatever we have for TSS.
Okay.
So I put it, so the salary schedule that you see here is just base. It does not include TSS, which we're estimating that TSS is gonna be $6,200 per year per certified staff again.
Okay, then. You need a motion to ratify?
We do.
I make a motion to ratify the 24-25 negotiated agreement between the board and the Greene County Education Association.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please call roll.
Boyd,
I'll abstain.
Field,
Aye.
Rip Hagan,
Aye.
Silva.
Sorry.
And she, again, Connie had to abstain because she'll have a son and a daughter-in-law who will be under that, so.
Quickly, did the association ratify it also?
So, yeah, so we do this and then they'll come and sign it, so,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, on to G 24-25 AEA Cooperative Purchasing Agreement.
Yep, this is just standard operating procedure, I'll call it. We've done this every year with the AEA, just that we kind of enter into an agreement with them for them to get some competitive food bids for the kitchen. So they do a lot of all the bidding process for us, and so it doesn't have to.
I move we approve the 2024-2025 AEA Cooperative Purchasing Agreement.
I'll second that motion.
Rip Hagan,
Aye.
Fields,
Aye.
Boyd,
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. Okay, moving to our Peyton Sheridan sharing agreement.
Yeah, so you'll notice that there's this kind of a little bit of a wording change, and you might ask why this is even in front of us, like on number 2. So number 2 used to say that each party shall state its intention for continuation, not discontinuation. So it's just a subtle word change, and that if we didn't notify by January 15th of the year it was set to expire, that the agreement would be discontinued. And so we agreed to shift that language there so that if neither notifies by January 15th, it's just assumed that it'll remain and continue. And so.
Brent, are you back
No,
on?
Brent's not on. Whoever that is, can you please mute? Okay. So this involves all of the things that we do with Peyton Sheridan for their students to come down and participate in our classes, for them to participate in athletics, and kind of what those amounts are going to be. And that, we do need to have a joint board meeting. I think it's been a few years since that's actually happened. But I think to talk about the sharing agreement, how it's going and kind of things like that. So Peyton Sheridan does have a new superintendent that they're going to be entering into an agreement with. Actually, we've already done it. And I know they've already sent out a letter. I believe it came from their board president that said that there would be no shift or change in what's already present in the sharing agreement. So they kind of demonstrated their continued commitment with us. So
I have a question on number 5,
yep.
athletics. If a student joins after the first week,
Mhm.
do
We still bill them.
we still bill them
Oh, yeah.
for that? Okay. Okay.
We may. I don't know if we prorate it at all. I think
No,
we just
we
bill
just
them for the
try- I
full
mean-
bill.
Okay.
Sign up for it.
What do we need to do to ensure that we get a joint board meeting negotiated?
Craig and I, well, right for now, Craig and I, and then moving forward, Brian and I will need to set up a date. And then, so I think there's a committee. So this says we'll have a standing committee, which will be 2 board representatives from each district. One has to be Bonnie and then me. will kind of be on that committee. And so, but I think I just leave it up to Brian or Craig and I. So we can still meet with Craig while he's there, or I mean, I'm sure Brian would come and participate. So
When do they turn over?
he'll start
Leadership.
July 1.
July 1.
Yep.
Okay.
And
I think it would be, I mean, if we're gonna have a joint board meeting, I think it would be better to wait until after the new superintendent is.
Probably, yeah.
I wouldn't try, I guess.
We could aim for, July or August or something like that to do that.
And even though two only have to be there, is everybody welcome, or do they purposely keep it not a quorum? You know?
In the past, it's been everybody.
Yeah.
Okay,
And they've
so-
established quorums.
Okay.
Yep, we just hold it as a special meeting.
Yeah.
So who assigned it? Who's the signature?
It's the PC board president.
Somebody like Dave Palmer. That was his
I just
name.
wanted to know his name.
Yeah,
I can't
Dave.
read it. Okay.
Yeah, but I think he just got on again in November for 4 more years. So. Okay, well, I think if anyone wants to make a motion to go ahead and,
I'll move that we approve the Patreon sharing agreement.
I will second that.
Fields,
Cindy Dobendick is here, so I can vote if you would like.
is it easier for her not to?
it's probably just easier if not, no.
Yes.
That's just fine.
Okay, thanks, Cindy.
Now where was I at?
You're just calling names.
Okay. Fields, aye. Rip Hagan,
Aye.
Boyd,
Aye.
Silva.
Hi. Thank you, PC. Glad to have you.
Absolutely.
Okay, discussion of city-owned softball field.
Yeah, so been kind of going back and forth with Scott Peterson in the city. Had some members of the public had asked if, it was more of the question of when will the girls have their own field to be able to play on? And so I just asked the question right back. Well, I'm like, well, if we just purchase the one that we currently borrow from the city, would that be, would that work? And so it was kind of an overwhelming yes. Since I said, well, okay, well, I'll just kind of set in and see what I can find out here. So found out on Monday that there may be a possibility we can't even purchase it. And I have to find the exact acronym that Scott used. So the field was developed or redeveloped through, I want to say it's Land Water Conservation Funds, or LWCF. And so he's working with somebody from the DNR to determine what that use could look like. He said one of the options would be that we could enter into an agreement with them where they would set hours and our use and the maintenance and all that. And, my response back to him was, I didn't know if I really saw the point in that, considering we already have that with the city. Why would we stop sharing with the city just to share with them? It didn't really make sense, but he was going to keep that conversation going with them to see if.
Do you mean share with the DNR?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we would just, and so that they would just enter a sharing agreement with us as opposed to entering the sharing agreement with the city, which to me, it's whatever the phrase is, one half dozen of the other,
Yeah,
whatever.
6
that
of one,
is.
half
Yeah,
of
there you go.
another.
Thank you. Yeah. So it doesn't make any difference. But if we were able to purchase it, so we can kind of talk just about that, it would only be like basically just the softball field. So the parking lot, which is to the east or on the fairground side, still is owned by the fair board, so we wouldn't get any of that. And then really the parking lot and everything to the west, the concession stands and everything, none of that would be included. It's just basically the perimeter of the fence and down that press box line, and that's about it. It's literally just the field.
Because that's the property boundary now, or
That's-
because of the agreement with the DNR?
That's what the property boundary is now.
Okay.
So I got just some estimates just to kind of give you an idea, just on utilities, would be about $1,500 a year. Insurance, Jim Unger said, I estimated at 5,000. Jim said he didn't even think it would be half of that. Estimated maintenance costs, including like fertilizer, mowing, all that stuff, at somewhere in the about 5,000 for the year. Some of the expected or needed repairs, probably going to need to replace the scoreboard, probably going to need to replace the lights that are out there at some point, probably going to need to build a concession stand that's closer to the softball field, may need to look at like fencing, dugouts, batting cages, just general upkeep there kind of thing. kind of had an all-in cost, an eventual cost. I mean, when we talk about like repairing light poles and replacing a scoreboard and things like that, we'd be looking somewhere in like the $200,000 range. So.
Which would be a one-time cost or a yearly
Yeah,
cost?
well, the lights and scoreboard,
That'll be
yeah,
a
it's gonna be a
one-time.
one, hopefully it's only one time. But like an ongoing cost, we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of probably like 10 to 12,000 a year or so. And that's just with insurance, maintenance, utilities.
And that's purchasing?
So if we were to purchase, those are things that we would likely
And
have
then
to do.
do
We don't
have
have
a
to do any of
purchase, do we have a purchase price?
We don't have any purchase price at all. This is really just a more of a discussion of, do we want to, is that something that you want me to keep pursuing? Like, what are your thoughts around that?
Well,
what are
the
questions?
parking, then I would hate to ever be in the position that, well, you can have the game, but you can't
Yeah.
park there.
Can't.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, we've
you
always
know,
parked
that-
in the grass
Yeah.
and not in the
Not
actual parking lot. Yeah, because
Really?
that's still the baseball field and over. I mean, people do park in the parking
Right.
lot, of course, but that's not included with
Okay,
how that. how
so
that
there
stuff
would have to
falls
be
on
like
there.
some kind of agreements with. I see, because where we park now, it belongs to the
Fair board.
Fair Board,
Mhm.
right? And we just park there, or do we have an agreement with them to allow us to park there?
There's no agreement. We just do.
We just get along, right?
We need to have a conversation probably. I just feel like there's a lot of, nobody wants to take ownership of it and that leaves things kind of left to the wayside. So that would be something different would be great, whether that's a better, more tightened agreement or keep pursuing trying to purchase or doing something. Because the bleachers, they move, the city owns all those too. They use those for different things.
What do we pay now? Do we pay?
So we are in a 2080 agreement with the
Mhm.
city that includes the rec center and the softball field. We pay $10,000 a year for it. Back, I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, we used to have mega nights and we used the rec center. So that was a large part of why we had that sharing agreement in place. Obviously, we don't really do mega nights anymore, where we have like games going at all 3 gyms. Back when we had the old middle school gym, so we had that, the rec center and whatever, and middle school here, but we don't do that anymore. Or at least it's not really in our schedule to do that anymore. But it's been something that we've always had, and that also gets us all the maintenance and whatnot between us. and the
Right, so
city.
right now, the city's supposed to be maintaining it and they're the ones.
Yep, and then if there was like a major repair, like we need to replace like 2 light poles or something like that, the city and the school district would kind of come to an agreement and basically go 50-50, maybe go 60-40. We'd come to whatever the agreement was for us both.
Well, we should do that before we try to buy it.
Yeah.
Is there, I'm kidding, for anybody listening, is there anything that's not working with the current scenario?
Other than we don't actually own it, it's not in our possession for our girls. That's, I mean, and I completely get it where I'm hearing it from. I completely get it as to why they want their own space. And everybody else, honestly, I think everybody else has their own space. I don't think there's anything they do, except them. So that's, I mean, and when that kind of hit me, I was like, oh yeah, they really don't. I was like, okay. So then that's where that kind of really kind of thrust me into the research mode there.
And whose parking is on the east? It's more on the east side.
The
No.
grass.
Not this, no.
The east is the
East-
city
east
owned
is
lot.
East is,
East is, this was the city owned.
Right.
Okay,
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, right, yeah, yep.
so that is city owned.
It is.
Okay.
And we can
parking
still
lot.
park, like people can still park
Well,
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's where we park.
yeah. So that wouldn't go away or anything. Like, I mean, it wouldn't be like, it's public parking really. So
Okay.
I just know a lot of people park in that grass area, so.
Okay.
so do we need to, is step 1 figuring out where things sit with the DNR?
Yeah.
Before we can really,
Yeah, and really this was kind of more like of a one to let people know that we're talking about it, to generate any other questions or, what other research do you want me to do, and what else do you want me to dig into, or what else am I not thinking about, kind of thing.
Is there anything at the baseball field that we have at the baseball field that we don't have? At the softball field, like, I don't think there's locker rooms or anything over there, right? It's just, we got a couple dugouts and, right? And we've
Fence,
got,
a fence, scoreboard, and
yeah,
there's a pitching, there's like a
batting
batting
cage.
cage, but we do
There's
have
one
a,
down there
we
as
do.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So there wouldn't really be anything, anything beyond, maintenance and repairs that would need to happen. Okay.
Yeah, and Scott did email me earlier today and said that they went out and tested all the lights in the scoreboard, and as of right now, everything's in working condition. So we may not have to replace anything. I just put those on as
Yeah.
we're looking at replacing the lights at Wandusca. So I just said, well, how many poles do we have? What would that look like? Kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
So is there any other questions or thoughts that you guys have around that?
I would say just keep exploring that DNR to see if, if we can't purchase it, then there's kind of
And it
another,
leads
yeah,
where we need to go next.
that's right.
Yeah,
And that just kind of came up Monday, so.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
kind
when
of
I
information.
probably got all that information on that one, so.
All right, we're gonna continue on to the first reading of board policy 404.2.
Only shift here is that, so Teach Iowa has gone away for Iowa Works, where we are required to post all of our job positions that we don't, it's just,
So do we have a motion to approve the change, switching from Teach Iowa to Iowa Works?
I'll approve the updated version of 404.2.
I'll second that motion.
Rip Hagan.
Aye.
Fields. Aye. Boyd.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. And then board policy review.
Yep, so just really kind of some of the changes in here were just some language changes, which I think Jill has highlighted. If there's like one should have said or, but it said of kind of thing. The reconsideration committee there is, when you look at number 1 through 4, that it's only 4, so it doesn't need to say at least 4. Because we cannot use students that passed some legislation last year, so we can't use students in a reconsideration committee anymore. And then that's further reflected as you go down further on page 17 of 20. We also did change, there's kind of a funky one there.
Yeah.
The meaningful discussion, rather, it said before when we're talking about challenging materials, it said to create a climate of disagreement, which when Connie and I were reading that, we both kind of looked at each other a little funny and we're like, that seems a little off. And so went back to IASB and that's what they have updated it now to, which that seems a lot more appropriate.
Okay, I see what they're.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
what?
And then there was another one there just on 6053D, just of, it has to be made up of 6 members because, again, we had to strike out students not being involved. So that's why it says 6 instead of 8. So,
I just had a question, a clarification request on, the policy 605.1A.
Let me get there real quick. 6.605.1A.
Right.
Okay.
mhm. And number 8, down at the bottom. It says biased or slanted materials may be provided to meet specific curriculum objectives with the understanding that the limitations of these materials will be addressed when used in class. And the thing that I'm asking for clarification on is who decides or what is the protocol for deciding what material is biased or what material is slanted or what material is limited? Who decides those things?
our teachers and our curriculum leads.
So,
The same as in the section 2 above.
so as far as if there was any, like, what you just went over a little bit ago, if there was a different viewpoint on something being biased or not, you just go through the same protocol that you would go through if you wanted a reconsideration on some kind of material, correct? Is
Correct.
that
And then
how
there's,
you would handle it?
those policies then layer on the process that we would follow then to look at any materials that you are challenging.
Okay, so the first line of person that would decide on bias or slanted materials or limitations would be the teacher. That would be the first line they would decide.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I do wish that the state board, school board would be consistent with their, certified person, licensed person, teacher, and faculty. They're all the same person, but they use all 4 words. But anyway, just saying.
Well, I would move to approve board policy 604.9 through 605.3E5.
I'll second it.
Please go ahead.
Rip Hagan,
I'm
Fields. Aye. Boyd.
Aye.
Silva.
Aye. 6:46, meeting adjourned.
Excellent.
Good work, team.
Thanks.